I had to get carpet cleaning jobs coming in. Otherwise, I couldn't feed my family. It really was a kind of a dire situation. A lot of people, they don't realize how important when you register your business with Google. Think about it. Your competitors are up against the same thing. And if you're willing to do this and your competitors are not, you've got a huge, huge advantage. If you make your phone ring in the city that you want to rank in, man, a few $100s is going to turn into thousands of dollars. Other agencies right now are freaking out. I'm getting excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be an exciting way to get for local businesses to start getting business.
Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today, I'm really excited to present to you Joe from Big West Marketing. A little backstory. When I was in high school, I used to watch Joe's YouTube videos about Google Business Profile, about website stuff back in the day, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And so he's been around a while. Joe, how are you doing today?
Awesome. Clay, thanks so much for having me. I know that one of my good clients, I just actually got off the phone with him on Friday, and he was talking up your software and everything. So it was great that he connected us. And when you reached out to me, you had like that really personal email. I usually delete all emails that come through, but yours was super personal, and I'm just glad you connected with me. So yeah, thanks for having me.
For sure. Well, we're happy to have you on today. I know you're going to share lots of wisdom about SEO and websites and stuff with our audience, so we're excited about it. But before we dive in a little bit more, do you want to tell people about Big West Marketing, how it got started, maybe kind of the problem you saw originally and why you started it, and maybe how that's evolved over the years?
Yeah, I'll keep this short and sweet. So I started a carpet cleaning business here in Missoula, Montana back in 2009. The economy was bad and I was kind of desperate. So I created a carpet cleaning business with my wife's minivan and got out there and tried to hustle up business however I could. A buddy of my dad's told me about this thing called Google where I could, put my business online for free. I taught myself how to build a website and registered with Google and started getting some reviews and realized that, there was 25 carpet cleaners in town, but I realized that I was one of the only guys that was really putting time and energy into this online marketing thing. Everybody else was still trying to do like Valpak and the yellow pages and stuff back then. My phone started blowing up. Took a few months, but my phone really started blowing up. And I realized there was something to this game. So once I started doing that, I realized, okay, I'm gonna start helping other guys do this, not in my town, but other carpet cleaners in other towns. I'm gonna teach them how to do this stuff, maybe make a little side hustle out of this. Yeah. That side hustle eventually turned into a real business. And I sold the carpet cleaning business, went full-time in marketing in about 2014, 2015. Since then, I've just kept growing this business, and I've started helping other service businesses. Now we do a lot of like electricians, HVAC, still got a lot of cleaning businesses, pressure washers, carpet cleaners, stuff like that. But that's kind of how Big West Marketing came into existence. And so, yeah, we're still having fun with that. All we do is web design and search engine optimization, both for the organic side and the Google Business Profile. But that's the story, man. That's how I got into this game.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I feel like all of the best agencies serve the business they once were, right? I feel like, there are some exceptions to that. There also are great agencies out there that didn't actually have the business, but something about if you were a home service business owner and you understand the intricacies of the needs and what you need to do to market and sell and grow a business, and then that transition to helping others has been so natural. I just had a guy on who runs ads for dog waste removal companies, and he grew his business from 0 to over 500 recurring customers in less than 2 years. Wow. And so of course all the people in pet waste want to work with him, so that's such a natural progression. Can you talk a little bit about when you were getting started, how are you learning all this stuff? You said you just taught yourself how to build a website, taught yourself a little bit. How did you learn back in the day?
So I was up at about 4 or 5 in the morning teaching myself all this online stuff, buying courses, watching YouTube videos, which were pretty rudimentary back then. And then I would start cleaning carpets about 9 a.m. So I had that grind, early in the morning before my wife and baby would wake up, start crying. So I just had that early morning grind when I would have that time to myself and I'd be teaching myself all this marketing stuff. I also took on a couple mentors that would, teach me this SEO stuff, which was just really unknown back then. It was kind of the Wild West, teaching me how to do blog commenting and backlink building and like all this crazy stuff that it just was like a weird thing back then. Nobody really understood what was going on. So I just would jump in and experiment and teach myself this stuff. That's really what it came to. And it's changed, dramatically since then. But yeah, it was just a matter of wanting to figure out something that would make my phone ring, because I was like, my back was up against the wall. I had a new baby. I had a wife that didn't work, and I had to get carpet cleaning jobs coming in. Otherwise, I couldn't feed my family. It really was a kind of a dire situation. So, but I got to the point where I was like, man, do I really want to keep cleaning carpets, or do I want to get into this marketing thing? I got kind of just to where I was having so much fun with the marketing thing, and I was having fun helping other guys figure out the marketing thing, that I was like, I want to be a marketer rather than a carpet cleaner. I was running both businesses at the same time, and I had to really make a decision. It was really hard to run both of the two different businesses at the same time. I had to decide which way I wanted to go. And at one point I decided, I had a technician that was working with me doing the carpet cleaning stuff, and he made an offer to me. He's like, I'll buy your business from you. And that was in 2014. Yeah. And I said, let's do it. And within a week, he borrowed the money from his father-in-law, bought the business. He's still got the business going right now, and he's still successful with it.
Giddy up.
So it's kind of a cool story.
That's awesome. I mean, I think we talked about how much, you said a little bit about how much SEO and stuff has changed, but it's crazy how YouTube University is still a thing, right? That's how I taught myself everything. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're into nowadays. You can find information on YouTube and learn about it. And obviously people are going to sell their courses and all that sort of stuff to help, which is great. But yeah, can you talk a little bit about when you look at a home service business, and what's normally the first most common mistake you see among most people you're starting to work?
Yeah, good question. So a lot of people, they don't realize how important when you register your business with Google. So you can register a Google business profile for free, which everybody needs to do. I first recommend you have a website, and you don't have to hire somebody to build a website at first. I think eventually you probably do want to have like a professional website built. But if you're on a budget and you want to get your name out there, you can always do like a DIY website through GoDaddy or Wix or something like that. Get something out there to show that you got to prove to Google that you're serious, and you got to get a website. So you can go budget friendly in the beginning. It's absolutely fine. But when you open up that free Google business profile, you got to have a website. I see people get rejected by Google, and one of the big reasons is that you don't have a website at all. So a lot of people will just think they can register this free Google business profile and they get rejected. There's different reasons you get rejected by Google, because Google is so touchy these days. One of the reasons is that you just don't have a website at all. So I highly recommend that you get a website before you even apply for that free Google business profile. Yeah. And then another thing is that's a really big deal is you got to have a centrally located physical address. So now when you have a Google business profile and you want to rank that into the top 3 where you can get like your reviews, show off all your reviews that you can get with the Review Harvest software.
Yeah, there you go.
One of the big ranking factors that a lot of people don't realize is that address that you register with Google, the physical address. Now, you can definitely hide that address if you're a home-based business, which a lot of you guys probably are, especially starting out. You're probably going to want to hide that. You want to hide it from the public. You don't want everybody knowing where you live, which is absolutely fine. You can still rank that. No problem. Yeah. And you want to show a service area, which is absolutely fine. But Google's still going to know where your physical address is. And that whatever city you rank in is going to be the address that you register with Google, hidden or visible. A lot of people don't realize how important that physical address is that you rank, that you register with Google in the beginning.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And so when it comes to registering that service area business, most people are using a home. I feel like so many YouTube videos don't talk about that because it's one of those things that's hard to change, right? It's like I'm not going to go move or get an office most of the time from watching my YouTube video, right? And I know like in my YouTube videos, I hardly mention that as one of those things because it's one of those things that it's really hard and difficult to change. I want to give people like practical stuff they can implement now. But have you seen, case scenarios where it makes sense for a business to go and spend $500 a month on a small office or something to go get an address they can list to rank? And just talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously you can rank service area businesses, it's possible, but isn't it a lot easier if you have an address?
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to rank in a specific city, you're going to have an address in that city. And I know the guys don't want to hear that. They want to rank in a specific city, but they have their home address in this other city. And they're like, no, but I want to rank over here. The hard truth is, and most marketing companies aren't going to tell you this. Most YouTube videos that you watch aren't going to tell you this. You really do have to have an address in there. Yes, you can go and use a friend's address. You can use a family member's address if you have access to that home address. Just realize you're going to have to officially make that your business address. So it means you're going to have to register with the Secretary of State. You're probably going to have to do a video verification with Google. No longer use the postcards and all that little game. It have to be your official business address. You may even have to get a utility bill. Google's might actually ask for a utility bill, meaning like a cell phone bill or an electric bill, something like that. So it's going to be a pretty big deal to use another address. The best thing, and we've had clients do this, and you just mentioned it, Clay, you might have to actually go rent a small office. You can't use a PO box. You can't play games with virtual addresses or UPS boxes. All that kind of stuff is out the window. So yeah, the address is so important with your Google business profile ranking, that 3-pack where you show off the reviews and all that stuff. It's such a big deal these days. And I know a lot of guys don't want to hear this, but think about it. Your competitors are up against the same thing. And if you're willing to do this and your competitors are not, you've got a huge, huge advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the game, though. That's the game these days. And if you're willing to do it and your competitors are not, you can make your phone ring. You can make your phone ring.
For sure. And like, especially in those competitive areas and competitive industries, if you're, I always give an example of like, if you're an injury lawyer in the middle of New York, like you're playing a different ball game than us people in the middle of Georgia, in just some random industry that's not super competitive. And so if you are in a competitive area, it can be a great advantage. And the negative thing, if you do have to, register your business at your friend's address or something, now they're going to get all your spam business mail. Now they're going to get all that mail you get. And so, I'm not telling you to do anything against Google's guidelines, but maybe you need to pay them a couple $100 a month or $100 a month or something to put up with all your spam mail because my business has been registered at my parents' house for the last like 3 or 4 years because we just recently bought a house, but we've been in apartments hopping around in the area. And I was like, I don't want to change this every year when we move, And so my parents just constantly get inundated with all of my business mail.
Yeah. And you got to be creative. I mean, I've got a guy who actually found a small basement office, and it's like 90 square feet, big enough for a desk and a computer to do the video verification, and it works.
Yeah.
And then he was able to sublet it out to somebody else. I mean, to offset the cost. So you got to be creative with it, and you can find these little offices on Craigslist or just driving around, pounding the pavement. It doesn't have to be a big fancy storefront or anything like that. It can be a small little hole in the wall office. It does not need to be anything impressive. It just has to be a legit office with a door that locks, that is your office, that you can put a sign on.
Yep.
If you're going with the commercial office route. But yeah, Google takes it very serious these days. You just really can't play the games that you used to be able to play. But that's the game. And then if you think about it, like if you make your phone ring in the city that you want to rank in, man, a few $100s is going to turn into thousands of dollars.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then if you don't, to kind of change the conversation a little bit, there's other ways to rank organically, below the map section, in lots of other cities, surrounding cities, small towns, other ways by using like city pages on your website. So you're not just pigeonholed into getting exposure in just the Google Maps or the Google Business Profile. You can get organic exposure as well. So there's lots of other things to do with SEO as well. But since we were kind of talking about that, I wanted to address the address situation. It really is a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. And I talk to business owners who are spending a couple grand a month on Google Ads without a doubt, without question. And I just look at, and I, if we're in the conversation, I'll just kind of say, how much would it be for you to get an address, for you to get an office where you want to rank? Because a lot of times it is that situation. They don't have an address. They're a service area business. They live outside of the city, whatever it is. And they're spending $5,000 a month on Google Ads. Like, well, maybe you go find an office for $600 and you could easily get that ad spend back in organic search. And so, yeah, it's such a good point when it comes to that sort of stuff. But if we go to, you have like a DIY website. So, maybe you threw something up on Squarespace or GoDaddy or something. You set up your Google Business profile. You might not have known everything about it, but you kind of went through the steps. What's kind of your next things on the checklist for business owners to check off to make sure they have a good shot at ranking in that map pack?
Next step is to definitely get 10 reviews. So Google will start taking your business serious once you get your first 10 reviews. And then you want to start, and then you don't stop there. Of course, you want to keep getting more reviews. And then there's different factors when it comes to getting reviews. There's like review velocity. And I'm sure you teach this stuff to your guys.
Yeah.
You teach it on all your content and stuff. But you want to continuously get reviews on a regular basis, whether it's one review a week, several reviews a week. It depends on how many reviews your competitors have and how often they get them. That's kind of determines how many reviews you get and how often you get them. But reviews have become a very big factor when it comes to ranking in the 3-pack. And then after reviews, the next factor that I always teach people is photos. So photos, and this is another thing that people don't really talk about, photos have become a really big factor, especially since all the AI stuff is coming into play. You can't fake genuine photos of your business and work being done.
Yeah.
And so photos of your business, meaning tools, people doing work, your truck with graphics on it, all that kind of stuff, you can't fake that stuff. So start pulling out your phone, take pictures of you doing work, your guys doing work. If you have logos on your shirt, your hat, your truck, make sure all that stuff is actually in the photos, because Google can actually see the logos on all this stuff. They can sync it up with your Google Business Profile. They can sync it up with the logos on your website, and all the AI can sync all this stuff up, and it actually will help in the overall rankings. It's not the biggest factor right now, but it's getting to be more and more important. Photos, like I said, are actually a ranking factor now. So after reviews, I would start taking photos and start uploading them to your website and to your Google Business Profile on a regular basis. And it'll start helping with the rankings.
Yeah, one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen was when it comes to Google Business Profile and photos was searching up a specific, I forget who showed me this example, but searching up a specific type of tire and a specific type of tire in the area. And basically, for some reason, one business that didn't have the best reviews, didn't have the best website or anything, popped up near the top. And if you go and look at their recent photos on the Google Business Profile, that specific model or make of tire was right there in a photo, and Google was able to analyze that this is the tire that you're looking for.
It's
crazy what it can do. And like the thing is that people are this is one of the things where I get business is hard. Business is super hard. I'm always struggling. Entrepreneurship's a journey, but like, why don't people take photos of them doing the job or their employees doing the job? Like, they look so much better than just boring stock photos or nowadays like AI cartoon graphics. I'm like, just go take a photo. People want to work with local businesses. They know who's going to show up. They know what they look like. They know what their trucks look like. And so it literally takes 5 minutes with an iPhone or an Android to go do that. Why don't people do that?
Yeah, it really is easy these days with smartphones, and it's so much easier. It's so easy to upload photos to your Google Business Profile. Once you get in the habit of it, it's kind of like get in the habit of asking clients for reviews, especially with your software. You guys make it so easy.
Yeah.
You get in that habit of asking for reviews, taking a few photos. You don't have to go crazy with it. Just do it once a week.
Yeah.
Take 5 photos a week of your guys doing jobs. And Google can look at these photos. Like I've seen this tool where you can upload one of your photos and Google can say, there's a drill in that photo. There's wires in this photo. There's a van in this photo. Like Google can see what's going on in the photo. There's a man with a hard hat and a hammer doing work. Like they can spit out text based on the photo and tell you what's in the photo. So yeah, it's just smart. Google's getting smarter. And as AI improves, I mean, it's just going to become more and more of a big deal. Yeah. It's so easy. It's so easy to take photos once you, like I said, get in the habit of it. So just do it, guys. Just do it. So your competitors are not doing it. Like the majority of your competitors are not doing it. So just start.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about, I normally just call them a stale profile. Like it obviously somebody set them up maybe a year to set up a profile, maybe a year or two ago, they got some reviews, but we see it all the time now, businesses ranking way better with less reviews than someone with way more reviews. And obviously there's so many factors that goes into that, but can you talk about stale profiles and like how people just set it and then forget it? They just like, oh, I'm done with Google's profile. Never need to touch it again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. Like I've seen these guys that go out and they get like 50 reviews and they're like, oh, I'm good to go. Then they're in there and it just kind of sits. Or they go out and get 50 reviews, they put on 50 pictures and they're like, okay, my profile's done, I'm good to go. And that's just not the case. Like it's never a set it and forget it thing when it comes to Google websites or profiles. You constantly, and I'm not saying you don't have to be constantly getting on there every day and doing something. But once a week, once a month, and it all comes down to, there's no set rule. It depends on what your competitors are doing. If your competitors are on there once a week, you need to be on there twice a week. If your competitors are on there once a month, you need to be on there twice a month. Yeah. And most competitors are not super active in the home service space. So what that means is you don't have to be crazy active on there. You don't have to be on there 10 times a day. But if you're on there usually, even in mid-sized cities, if you're on there once a month or twice a month, you're doing more than your competitors. Yeah. When I say this stuff, I'm talking about reviews. I'm talking about pictures. I'm talking about maybe putting on a Google post once a month, stuff like that, doing simple updates. And the same with your website. If you're going on there and you're making, just making sure your website is fresh, even once a quarter, you're probably doing more than your competitors are doing. Yeah. And so like when we are managing SEO for one of our clients, like we're going in once a quarter and we're making sure that all the services have been updated, making sure that they align with everything that our client is actually doing. Like, are you guys still doing all these services? Because sometimes people stop doing services, they add new services, stuff like that. Yeah. Google will actually go in there and make changes to services on Google Business Profiles, stuff like that. We want to make sure that that they've got updated pictures. We want to make sure that they're responding to reviews, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, keeping stuff fresh at least once a quarter is going to keep it from being a stale profile. So that was a really good question. Yeah, it's never set it and forget it.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest questions we get asked is like, how many reviews do I need? Like, it's just like a number. How many reviews do I need to rank? And it's like, it's never just a number. I think Sterling Sky did the study about like, there is some sort of statistical significance with Google when you get to 10. Like going from 9 to 10, for some reason, Google's like, all right, yep, we're taking you legit. You're business, right? But then after that, beyond that, it is so much just based off of your area and your competitors and stuff. I mean, I had somebody the other day, we got them like 120 reviews in a couple months and like 3 or 4 months. And they're like, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I'm ranking well. I've got more reviews than my competitors. And we're like, okay, like review recency is a thing, like review velocity. You want to keep getting these reviews. And then all of a sudden, they cancel. And then like a month later, they're like, hey, I'm not ranking as well as I used to be. It's like, well, you haven't gotten a review in a month and nothing's changing. Oh, and look at that competitor that has 60 less reviews than you. Well, he's gotten 7 reviews this month. And so like Google's keeping track of this sort of stuff. But yeah, that's a great point. And so let's touch on websites real quick. When you're looking at a website, how would somebody has that DIY, right? They have that DIY website, they just throw it together. What's the biggest difference between that DIY website they threw together versus, professional website that somebody like Big West or they're paying some money for a website? What's the biggest difference between an all right website and a great website?
Yeah. So whether or not you hire someone to do a website for you, or if you do your own website, there's 3 things I want to tell you need to do. Number 1, you need to have a nice big phone number right at the top. Number 2, you want to have, like I said, personalized photos. You don't want to have stock photos. And then number 3, you want to have separated service pages. You don't want to just have a bulleted list of all your services. You want to have separate service pages. That's going to be good for SEO. It's also going to be good for people that are looking for specific services. Those are the top 3 mistakes I see with not every service, 90% of every service website I see out there, whether it's done by a professional or it's done DIY. So yeah, I see it all the time when I do a free consultation for somebody and we review their current website. Those are the top 3 mistakes I see.
Yeah.
It's just, you want to make it so easy for somebody to call you. You want to make it personal, and you want to separate out all your services onto different pages.
Okay. And when it comes to those service pages, what sort of information should people be putting on their service pages? And then you also earlier touched on location pages. What should be on a location page as well?
Okay, good. Yeah, good call. So service pages, the big problem I see is they have very thin content, meaning they have hardly any information on there. They just kind of say, okay, let's use an electrician as an example. So let's say you have a page that is about EV chargers. That's a big one right now. So they'll have maybe like a paragraph about EV chargers. No, you want to have a good 500 to 1,000 words all about EV chargers. Why? Because you want to show that you are an authority in whatever town or area that you are. You want to have more content on your website about EV chargers than anybody else in your area. You want to show Google that you're the authority, and you want to show anybody that's looking to have an EV charger installed in their house that you know more and that you are the authority on EV chargers. Same thing if you're doing electrical panel installs. You want to be the authority. You want to be the guy. And you do that by putting a lot of words on there. And you can use ChatGPT, you can use AI to help you create this content. You don't just want to blindly put the content in there.
Yeah.
Yours. You can actually match what you would tell somebody on the phone, which kind of like brings up my next point is you want to have frequently asked questions. What are the questions that people are actually going to ask you when they call up and ask about EV chargers or panel installs? You want to have frequently asked questions about each service, real frequently asked questions that people actually ask. And Google absolutely loves frequently asked questions right now. It has to do with the one of these updates they just came out with called the helpful content update.
Okay. That's really good. That's really good. I want to touch on one thing because I don't want to even miss it. Talking about how much of AI content to use. You said you want to make sure the content is what you would tell somebody on the phone. And because I've known that obviously AI and ChatGPT can get you a decent percentage of the way there. But what's the difference between the 80% and getting 100% of the way there? And I think that's the answer right there. It's like if the content is, answering a question and it's the way you would answer it to a question a customer or potential customer is asking over the phone, then sweet, put it on the site. That's so good.
Yeah. So when we use ChatGPT or different AI tools to generate content for a website, the prompts we have are half a page long, and then we have follow-up prompts, and all of those prompts are based on conversations we've had with our actual client. We don't just have generic prompts that we're throwing into these because we want to make sure that the content that is on these websites is actually helpful to their customers. Okay. And that's so important because especially as these new Google AI mode and people start using ChatGPT to search for local businesses, we want our clients to show up. And it's not going to come out if it's just generic content that somebody threw into ChatGPT and copied and pasted on there. We want this stuff to be actual super helpful stuff that people are actually looking for. And that's how you're going to get there. And then I kind of want to go back to pictures. You want to have actual pictures of jobs that you've done for an EV charger or for a panel upgrade or for a carpet cleaning job, stuff like that on those service pages. So yes, you're going to put a lot of time and effort into each one of these pages, but it's going to be upfront work. It's going to be stuff that you do one time and you may update it once in a while. It's going to pay off down the road because your page about an EV charger is going to be way better than all the competitors out there.
Yeah.
Google's going to love it. ChatGPT is going to love it if people are searching for your business using ChatGPT. And then when a human actually lands on that page because they're searching for an EV charger in the suburb of Chicago or wherever you're at, they're going to see that versus your competitor and they're going to call you.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to do it that way. And then when it comes to actually creating a city page or a service area page, so that's just a page on your website that is targeting a specific city that you want to service. Okay. You do the same thing and it's all unique content. You got frequently asked questions. You have specific information, unique information about that city and about your services that you offer in that city. If you have testimonials from clients in that city, if you've done commercial jobs in that city, take pictures of that, put that on that page. You want to flesh out that page to be unique and all about jobs or customers you serviced in that page. It's going to rank so much better than if you just copy and paste a bunch of information, change the city name, and call it a day. You know, you want to take the time and make these things unique and special just for that city. Yeah. And you want to add, you also want to embed a Google map specifically for that city. That's a little extra thing that can help bring page in Google. So yeah.
For sure. No, I think embedding a Google map is easy, right? You just go there and you just grab the embed code and you put it in there. If anybody's wondering, I feel like when people talk about embedding stuff onto a site, I feel like most business owners freak out. It's like, wait, how do I do that? You know?
Yeah, you can Google how to do it. There's YouTube videos and articles on how to do it. But yeah, there's little things you can do to create a super unique, special page just for your website. Whether you're doing it yourself or hiring a web designer to do it for you, you want to make sure it's unique. You don't want generic copy paste information. And you're kind of like, well, obviously, Joe, but go out and look at those websites out there. You'll see people with just generic copied and paste pages, and all. The only thing different about each one of these pages is the city name, and they just don't rank. They used to because nobody else was doing it. Now they
it's a little bit more competitive now, right? Yeah, and you talked about the work being kind of front loaded work. I mean, still people, I think, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on ads are amazing, but like people are spending $50, $60, $100 a call, and if you don't convert that person, that's money down the drain, right? Like you're not going to get anything else out of it, right? But if you spend a couple $100 to get a certain location page or service page done, that's going to be there forever. Like it's not going anywhere, and people can land on it and look at it every day. And so that's really valuable. But you've been touching on AI here and there. So I know you just made a YouTube video on it as well. So explain to home service business owners, how is this AI search error, LLMO, AIO, whatever people are wanting to call it, how is this going to change the game? Or do you see it changing the game that much? Or what do you think?
It's definitely changing the game. My wife is using ChatGPT way more than she's using Google now. My two daughters that are in high school, they hardly ever touch Google. They're using ChatGPT or they're using AI mode when they do use Google. I'm telling you, AI search is going to become the thing. I'm excited about it because I think it's going to change the game when it comes to search. Whenever something new comes like this, like most people kind of get scared. They're like, SEO is going away. And like other agencies right now are freaking out. I'm getting excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be an exciting way for local businesses to start getting business. And so it's still Wild West and that nobody knows exactly what to do or how to do it and stuff like that. I've got agency friends that are just freaking out. They think they're going to go out of business. I think it's going to be a whole new opportunity for businesses like me to help businesses like you guys that are listening. I think you guys are going to benefit from it if you jump on board and start learning about it now. There's little things you can do like city pages and getting really good content on your website to give you a head up on the competition. That's the kind of stuff you can start doing right now. I'm going to start making videos on my YouTube channel that is going to kind of give you little nuggets. Like as I learn things, I'm creating videos, free videos for people to start like jumping on. I'm implementing, experimenting with my website and some of my clients that are letting me experiment with their stuff. But like I said, it's still the Wild West. Stuff that worked 2 months ago doesn't work anymore, and new stuff is coming out. So it's like constantly changing, but it's just fun. I don't know. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah. And I think it comes with a lot of opportunity because there's still so many, but there's still so many service businesses that haven't even created a Google business profile or got up to date with the Google search algorithm, like or SEO stuff. Yeah. And so, but now there are a decent amount that are learning it. Now, if you're up to date, you're kind of on the cutting edge, you can hop on this AI stuff and take advantage of it quickly. And the difficult thing is, like you said, is that it is changing and no one like really, really knows. Maybe the people that created the large language models do, but no one really, really knows like what it is. We can basically just kind of like, search for something and see what happens and say, okay, let's reverse engineer that.
Well, and I was making a video about ChatGPT stuff, and I was using an example of stuff, and then I was going to finish the video later in the day, and I did the exact same same search, and the results were different later in the day. So it's changing that. It's not dependable as far as like what you search and stuff like that. So, and you can't track it. There's no software to track like data on like searches and like clicks and stuff like that. So like I said, it's the Wild West. I do want to like tell people there are a bunch of like scammy companies out there trying to sell you tools and software on this new AI thing. You're going to get left behind if you don't buy my stuff right now. Be careful of all the AI scams going on out there right now. Nobody has this stuff fully figured out, but they're trying to sell you stuff saying they do. So just be careful about that kind of stuff too. So, yeah.
Yeah, and fear is such an easy sell, and missing out and FOMO. It's such an easy sell for these bottom feeders that are just trying to, I think the right thing to do is the way you're doing it and the way I'm trying to do it as well is just like, hey, let's learn all about it. Let's observe it. Let's kind of take nuggets as we can. And once we can figure out how to implement it or things that we know we can do now that definitely do help, let's do it. But it is one of those things where if you're seeing an ad that's telling you that you're about to go out of business because you're not ranking on ChatGPT, then you probably just want to scroll past that.
Yeah, I had a client that just got locked in for a year, paying $700 a month for some scammy little AI software thing. And I looked at it. He wanted me to review it. He already signed up and paid for it, but he wanted me to review it. And I looked at it, and it was scammy. It was cheesy little scammy thing. It was if he had already paid for it and locked into it, and I'm like, it was bad. Yeah. So be careful. I'm just saying, be careful.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, Joe, I really appreciate you hopping on. And are there any parting words that you want to leave with all the service-based business owners that are watching this now?
Just get out there, get some reviews, get good pictures, be smart, use common sense when it comes to all this online stuff. And yeah, thanks for having me on, man. This is fun.
Yeah, no, we had a good time. And hey, drop a comment down below if you want to have Joe back on. We've already talked about him maybe doing like a live website audit where we do the same thing, but he shares a screen and goes over a website, or maybe the same thing with the Google Business Profile. If you think that'd be valuable, drop a comment down below and we'll get Joe back on.
Yeah, and if anybody does want to get a free consultation, I would review anybody's website and online presence, your Google presence and all that. If you just go to bigwestmarketing.com, there is a free consultation button. I only work with home service businesses, so if you want to do that, just go to bigwestmarketing.com.
Heck yeah, and we will link all his stuff down below in the YouTube description. So it should be a link down there, and just click on bigwestmarketing.com. Should take you there. Joe's a great guy, so definitely recommend him. So yeah. Hope you have a great rest of your day, Joe, and thanks for hopping on.
Okay, thank you.